I always struggled with discipline, but discipline doesn't have to be hard. In this video, I want to share the 3 steps that I used to make discipline feel extremely easy. The first step that I used was to build habits. Habits are amazing. Habits let you do things that before you couldn't. No matter what, you're going to build habits, but you actually get to decide whether it's a good one or a bad one. So for example, let's say the morning. I used to roll out of bed and go immediately for my iPad and start scrolling on YouTube. And I scrolled for 8 or 9 hours a day. But the moment that I just switched on my morning, it's like the whole day got erased and it got better. The one change I made was that when I woke up, I just worked out instead. I exercised. And that one change made all the difference for me. Now, I didn't even do anything major. I already had a habit of doing something when I wake up. It was just what I do when I wake up. You're already consistent. All you have to do is redirect it. And when you redirect it, what you have to do feels automatic. Honestly, habits feel like your brain is always turned off and yet you still do the correct stuff. If every time that I wanted to work out, I had to manually think it through, I would not do it as often as I do. By the way, an easy way to build a habit is to use an already existing habit and just either put it before or after it. This is called habit stacking, and this is what I personally used. I already had a habit of getting out of bed, so I just combined that with working out. If I had just randomly put it in the middle of my day, I wouldn't have gotten this far. The next step that I used was I built momentum. Now, habits are great and all, but whenever you hit a rut and you just can't seem to do anything, this is where momentum comes in. Momentum is when it's harder for you to stop than to keep going. Think of a car moving at 100 miles an hour. That car, if you suddenly hit the brakes, it's not going to stop suddenly, right? It's going to take more force for you to stop the car than to just let it keep moving forward. The way to build momentum and how I built momentum is that I focused on consistency rather than the result. Whenever I focused on reading every single day, instead of reading for hours and hours, I actually got reading down. I didn't struggle with even starting reading because if all I have to do is just read for a minute a day, that's not hard. And because I focused on the consistency, I am now at a point where I read for at least half an hour a day, at least. By focusing on consistency in the good times, you'll stay consistent in the bad times. So you might consider just reducing how much you want to do it, but doing it every single day. And the last step that I use to make discipline feel easy is that I enjoy what I have to do. I'm being honest with you. When you like what you have to do, it doesn't feel like you have to do it. It feels like you get to do it. And there's a quote that goes along with this. The person who loves his job never has to work a day in their life. Because you like doing something, it doesn't feel like you're forced to do it and you have shackles around your wrist and you have to do it. And there's really 3 main ways that I built enjoyment. The first is to just do the thing. The more time and energy you put into something, the more you're actually going to like it. This is where passions come from, by the way. The second way that I did was I gave myself a reward for doing it. So let's say you really want to start working out. Well, an honest, easy way is to just give yourself a nice meal. Now, this doesn't mean gorging yourself with cake. This just means a nice meal that gives you a nice extra little bit of dopamine and reward at the end of it. And by the way, you can even just give yourself a mental reward. You can just say, good job. That one little extra bit will go a long way. And the last way to build enjoyment is to look over your progress. When I look over my progress pictures from working out, I'm amazed, honestly. I remember being a tiny little skeleton. My arms were the same size as my wrists. And I was always self-conscious about it. But 2 years later, I look back and I'm so glad that I worked out. Looking back over the progress I've made and the changes that have happened give me a huge sense of relaxation and pleasure. But of course, this requires that you actually made progress in the first place. So this is a nice little extra bit when you actually make some. As a quick recap, we covered building a habit so that it feels automatic, getting momentum so that you stay consistent in it no matter what, and getting enjoyment in it so that you feel like you get to do it. Now, really the only thing left for you to do is to ask yourself, how can I apply this? It would do you well to not only just listen to this video, but to ask yourself, how could I apply this? Even just 1 or 2 ideas would massively help you out. And it doesn't have to be long. You don't have to spend 5 minutes pondering. You can just, honestly, just pause it for a second or two, think it through, and you could even apply it if you want to. And that 1 or 2 extra bits that you got from this video will go a huge way for you. It will honestly feel like discipline is easier than not being disciplined. If you want to kickstart your discipline, I offer procrastination coaching. I offer one-on-one personalized help that will make sure that you stay on track. And all you have to do is check out the description and see if you're a right fit for it.